one, we're going to simplify each expression that involves complex numbers. So this first one's going to be a bit of a booger. What we have to do first is to expand the numerator and denominator based on our factoring facts here. So you can write this out twice and FOIL it out if you want. I just like to use this A and B. So your A would be 1 and your B is 3i. So when you expand that, you're going to get 1 plus 2ab, so 2 times 1 is just 2, times 3i, plus 3i squared. And denominator, it's going to be the same thing, but we have the minus here. So it's going to be 4 squared minus 2ab. So a is 4 and b is I. Plus your I squared. Your b is I squared. Now simplifying this further, we get 1 plus 6i plus 9i squared. Remember, I squared is negative 1. And denominator is going to be 16 minus 8i, and I squared is negative 1, so minus 1. Now let's just look at this real quick. This is going to be negative 1. So we're going to have a negative 9 there. So 1 minus 9 is negative 8 plus 6i. And the denominator, you're going to have 15 minus 8i. So now we can actually rationalize the denominator. So what we have is, let's duplicate this real quick. Negative 8 plus 6i divided by 15 minus 8i. Now to rationalize the denominator, we're going to multiply it by the conjugate from the denominator. Remember, I is square root of negative 1. We don't want a radical in the denominator. So we're just going to write this as 15 plus 8i. The conjugate of that is 8 plus. And you also have to multiply the numerator by that. Okay, so the denominator is easy because we're just going to use this formula. So your A is 15, so square it. Your B is 8, so square it. So this is going to end up being 225 plus 64, which is 289. Now let's look and see what we're going to do with the numerator. See if I have room here. So we have negative 8 times 15 is negative 120. Then we have minus 64i. No, I don't have room, so I'm going to write it down here. So this is going to be 225 plus 64. So we have negative 120 minus 64i plus 80i, and then plus 48i squared. Now I squared is negative 1, so basically this is 80i, sorry. We have 289, and this is going to be negative 1, this I, for substitution purposes. So that's going to give you negative 120 minus 48. And this part here is going to give you a 26i. So your final answer is going to be negative 168 plus 26i divided by 289. And that's it for that problem. Now hopefully the second one will be a little easier. We're just going to multiply the denominator by its conjugate. Let's see, 1 plus I square root of 3. So the conjugate is just going to be 1 plus I squared times I times square root of 3. Denominator is always going to be easier because we're just going to use our formula here. So that's going to be 1 squared plus square root of 3 squared using our formula. And then the numerator is a little harder. So we're going to have 2 plus 2i square root of 3 minus I square root of 3. And finally, we'll have the last part. It's going to be minus I square root of 3 squared. All right, so the denominator is just going to be 1 plus 3 is 4. All right, and then the numerator, this part here is just going to be I square root of 3. This is the part we have to worry about. We have negative I squared times 3. So this is I squared is negative 1. So you have negative times negative 1 times 3. So that's just going to be plus 3. Let me make sure I did that right. So minus I squared times 3. So we get 2 plus I square root of 3. And then we have plus, this is going to be 3. So this is going to give you 5 plus I square root of 3 divided by 4. And that will be your final answer. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.